Good afternoon, everybody. Now, there's a lot of news spreading around the internet today in regards to the Nintendo Switch and a couple of developers or people who have been banned from the Nintendo shop, I guess you'll call it, or just banned from Nintendo. Either way, I'm not getting into all the specifics. You can go out there. There's a lot of research, a lot of information you can find in regards to the subject. I've done a lot of research. I've also kept up with a lot of information and development throughout the Nintendo Switch. In regards to some of the people who were banned, or the two people, if I'm not mistaken, it's two people throughout this time period who have said they're banned. One of the major ones, I would say, is a straight up developer, hacker, constantly doing things, error codes galore, doing things that not necessarily will be doing, on a daily basis or a regular basis. Not to mention what they're doing might be, making a few people upset. I'm not going to get into details on who, some companies obviously, but in regards to the big ban, if you want to call it that, or this hype that everyone's getting on, it seems like people are trying to scare you. I've noticed some blogs or videos or I don't know, forums, posts, comments, whatever you want to call it, people questioning. You got to remember there's hackers and developers, there's tinkerers, I'm going to call them. More people who are the end user having fun with some of these projects and products and everything like that. Just for an example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 devices in front of me. On my left, I got an MSI. In the middle, I got my Nintendo Switch running 4.1.0. Running off that monitor with a battery pack and a custom dock. With the Pro controller. I also have in the background a Surface Pro 2017. As you can see, it's running Apple High Sierra right now. And then you also got my Android tablet there on the bottom, or in the middle, if you want to call it. That device there, the internal storage was only about 16 gigabytes or something like that. If I go into it real quickly, you can see that the storage is a lot more because I enabled adaptive storage or something like that, which is something that Google enabled in Android. So LG doesn't want it or doesn't think it's good. Well, if you got a fast enough SD card, you can fill that thing up with 50 apps that you purchased. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to. On the left there, my warranty, I guess, was void the first day I got it. I opened it up and I changed one of the hard drives. There's an SSD and an actual spinning drive, and I took the spinning drive and upgraded it to a hybrid drive with, I think, 2 gigabytes of storage or 1 gigabyte, something like that. In the middle, I'm using my custom dock with my power bank. And yeah, the Nintendo Switch hooked up and everything. The Nintendo Switch on the right is running Pokemon right now. Pokemon Emerald or something like that for Game Boy Advance. That Switch is working with the PlayStation 4 controller. I understand there's certain things we can and can't do. If you're full out, hacking games and changing what they were intended for in regards to, say, Pokemon, for example, everyone's bringing up, if all of a sudden your collection is increased by 100 crazy Pokemon, it's not kind of fair for everybody. I'm not condoning that. Pirating, I'm not condoning that either. I'm not telling people where to get, their games from or how to, do anything like that. What else? Yeah, that's basically it. In regards to all that, you have to be careful. Everything you do is under your own discretion, If you're doing something that's not necessarily intended by the manufacturer, of course, there's There's a risk involved. Is the risk worth more than the reward? You have to ask that question for yourself. And I'm sure you'll come up with an answer. Do your research, take your time, don't rush into anything. Don't just jump on the hype or the bandwagon. Take your time. And remember, few of these people who have been banned are complete hackers and developers. They're going to have way more error codes. They're going to be sending information back and forth. And, I understand how they've described and eliminated what they do or don't think the cause was. But in the grand scheme of things, what they were doing or are doing, it's got a lot more risk involved. The risk is times 3 or 4. You can't contest that. There's no question about it. So in regards to what, I've been doing or anybody else has been doing, yeah, there's a risk involved. I'm not going to deny that, and I never have. I've always made it aware to everybody the risk involved. This is at your own discretion what you want to do. You can watch these videos and just move along and do nothing with them. You could like, subscribe, share if you enjoy the content, but you're not necessarily hacking your Switch. You just think it's a cool idea. You can like, subscribe, share, or watch the videos, because you do want some useful information. I'm not telling you what to do. That's by no means the goal for this. Now, I just wanted everybody to know, I feel there's this big hype, this big scare, especially to everybody in regards to this. I think a little bit more time needs to be taken. Maybe be a little more cautious. Don't be, ridiculous on what you're doing. Have some common sense. There were a few things that people were doing. Maybe they were downloading games from the server when they shouldn't have been. There's many different factors. It doesn't matter if it was a year ago or if it's 2 weeks ago. That's just how it is. You can't just put a timeline and determine what's what for sure. Give it time. Maybe we'll get more answers. Maybe things will go bad. Maybe things will go better. But, we're all in for the ride in itself when you think about it. Me included, along with everybody else. So, again, it's at your own discretion. Take your time, do your research. I got these devices in front of me. There's nothing wrong with anything I've done with them. They needed to be done. They weren't able or capable of doing what they were capable of fully when you really think about it. Think about what a device would be if you took it, you stripped it of everything and just gave it the basics of what you need. What would the battery life be on that device? What would you be able to do with that? What if it was upgradable for 10 years? What if you can pull it out of a box, install something that's relevant on it at that point in time, say in 2020, and make that device relevant and usable again? Why is that against the rules? Productivity? To be able to reuse things? We recycle every day. But it seems like to recycle the products we own in any shape or form is frowned upon. It is not allowed, is the impression we're getting. But then here it is. The FCC stepping in and saying, whoa, this is not right. So give it time. Things are changing. It's just like the car manufacturers back in the day when it all first started. They were trying to tell people what they could and couldn't do. That if they went somewhere else for a mechanic who's licensed to get their work done, that their warranty was now void. Well, that might change for cars too. You buy a car at Toyota, soon you can go to a licensed mechanic somewhere else, save $500, still go back to Toyota for your warranty if something happens, and you're good to go. It should be like that for each and every device here in front of me. That's all we're asking for. And for some reason, some products were released a long time ago and they weren't up to par. And it was a manufacturer defect to the reason why they would fall apart. If I don't drop a device, if I don't spill water on it or anything like that, why is that device falling apart? Because someone's put a life expectancy on it and it hasn't even hit that life expectancy. And that life expectancy is just a time period and a time frame so they can decide when they want to recoup and make more money again for the stockholders and investors. Now don't be scared. Be informed. The Big Bang, I'm not scared. I understand that, something's going on. People have made mistakes. But give it time, it'll all get figured out. All the best. It's your boy Leonidas. Been a long day. Might have another video to come. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Peace.